Why are we so afraid of being messy? Why have we created this world that promotes perfection? Social media is all about showing your perfect life. Yet the irony is that in all these posts and images on social media, everyone talks about embracing your vulnerability, embracing your imperfections. But yet, the images themselves are not doing that. And there's such an immense embarrassment around being an imperfect human. So I'll tell you a little story about my journey to messiness. It began when I was 9, when my dad shot and killed my mother. Talk about messy. In that moment, it tore my world apart. It tore my family's world apart. Emotionally, everyone shut down. Albeit we were not the most emotional family to begin with. So this just took it to another level. There was so much grief, and I felt completely overlooked. I also felt obliged to hold it together for everyone. Because I could see the pain and the trauma that my gran and my dad were going through, who were closest to me. And they hated each other, valid. But I had just lost a pivotal person in my life. I couldn't afford to lose anyone else. So I felt this pull to keep them together. I felt like I needed to manage the situation. I didn't want my family to fall apart. So I decided to become the perfect child. And I'm an only child. So it was on me. It is important. I want to note here that what I just said is so important. That I decided to become the perfect child. For so many years, I carried so much anger and resentment and disappointment for my family putting that pressure on me to creating this person that I felt that I needed to be. And I blamed them for all the turmoil I carried with me through my life and the pressure I was under. But when I look back now, I realize that nobody asked me to do that. I chose that. I decided in that moment that that's what I needed to do, and that's what I needed to be. So if you are carrying around any really long-lasting feelings towards a situation or a person, really have a look and see who made those decisions. And yes, we're often put in very traumatic situations that force our hand. But at the end of the day, we always make that decision. Right or wrong, it's our decision alone. And once you realize that, you will lift so much trauma from your heart. But I decided to be the perfect child. So I overachieved at school, at sport, at making friends. I was polite, I was well-mannered. You could take me anywhere. I was, just like the poster child for like good upbringing. And I did the right things. For the most part, I'm human. I couldn't be perfect all the time. Sometimes it slipped. But when I did great, I could see it made people happy. It made my family notice me. It made them acknowledge me. And so I wanted it more because I wanted everyone to be happy. I wanted to be loved. But the problem with perfection, or the pursuit of perfection, is that you're never really present. Because you're always looking for the next thing, or the next way you need to be, or the next place you need to be at, or you're planning for how you're going to show up at the event, and what are you going to say, and what are you going to wear, and how are you going to act. And with this pursuit, I just got further and further away from myself. So I feel that the real messiness is not being human. The real messiness is trying to be perfect. Because the authentic me is not messy. She's great. The perfect me is messy because she's not authentic. She's not me. She's created. She's fabricated. And as a result, I struggled with so much lack of self-worth. I had so much self-doubt. I struggled to make decisions or commit to decisions because I didn't know if that decision was based on the real authentic me and what I really wanted to do, or was based on the created me, the persona of Carla. And so I had constant anxiety and depression because I didn't know who I really was. I didn't know if the way I was showing up was really me or the created me. I didn't know if people liked me or the created me. Now that's messy. And I had no idea where I was going, what I wanted to do, what I wanted to be. And so I needed external validation to show me the way. So, for instance, I really wanted to study sports management when I left school. But back then, it wasn't really considered a real job. I mean, people are making a fortune at it now. And so instead of pursuing something I was so passionate about, I took another route. I did a business degree in marketing because that's what was expected, or that was, the good thing to do. So I was all over the place. Now that's messy. And I never truly opened up to anyone either because fear of my perfect life being derailed. Fear of people judging me and my family for the trauma that had happened. The fear of being outcast. And as humans, we are designed to be in communities. So that fear of being an outcast is huge. That's messy. And we fear authenticity because we fear not fitting in. But the real you isn't the messy version. The fake created you is the messy version. Because nobody really knows that person, including yourself. It took me well into my 30s to start realizing who I really was. And how sad is that? It's been over 30 years of my life not knowing who I truly am, what I truly wanted, what truly lights me up. And when you get into that cycle of perfection, it's very hard to get out of it because it becomes so normal. And this fear of not fitting in is heightened. And so it makes you want to do it more. Makes you want to please more. And that pulls you further and further away from making real connections, because people are not connecting with you. They're connecting with the person that you think they want to connect with. And my perfectionism drove me to multiple suicide attempts because I was so lonely. Yet I was always, they say the loneliest place is in a crowd. I was never short of people. But I was lonely because nobody really knew me. I didn't know me. Nobody really was allowed to come into my life. And I was playing a game. I was putting on a show. I was the best person to have at a party or a networking event, because literally I could work the room like nobody's business, because I could just shift like a chameleon. But that creates so much anxiety inside, because you're constantly, it's like being in a play all the time. So you're constantly on stage. Now that's messy. So as I learned to drop my perfection, it became more freeing, more expansive, and actually less messy, because it was simpler. There were less plates for me to be spinning and juggling. There were less personas for me to be keeping track of. Less chaos. Which again is so ironic, because the drive for perfection is the need to control chaos. That's why we do it, because we want to control chaos. We want to know where we're going, how we're going, who we're seeing, what we're doing. But the more you grab at that perfection, the more chaos you're actually creating. I laugh at it now, because all that controlling I was doing was actually creating less control. Because there's so many little pieces, moving parts. There was no ways I could keep on top of that. So let go of the mess that is perfection. The mess of being someone to everyone. The mess of not being true to you. And then find some calm and some order in the fact that you're human, with all its beauty, all its flaws. But it's calm, it's you, it's authentic. So find the calm and the order in just being you.